Good morning, good evening, good night, older persons and family caregivers. Welcome back to Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist. This channel where we're talking all things living agelessly, bridging generational gaps, family caregiving, such a labor of love, and entrepreneurship, and just life itself. And I seem a little dressed up, yes. I came from one of a spiritual event. As you know, I am a Christian and I am proud of that. I have my faith and that sustains me throughout. And so while this channel, we don't talk religion, politics, any specific denominations per se. We do talk faith. We do talk conviction. And for you, what your faith is, what sustains you spiritually, you you can feel free to take whatever nuggets come through in this post tonight. But in reflecting, I thought and having to spend some time with persons very close with dementia. I'm meeting some new ones this week with dementia and their families. It's been occurring to me that persons seem to have forgotten or not thinking about the person with dementia and prayer. And does prayer even, some persons ask, does prayer even make sense? Because the person not gonna, the dementia is not gonna remember anyway. If you're an older person and you start to feel yourself losing your memory, that fear, that that as some have described, that loss, that sense of when am I going to lose who I am? Am I already losing who I am? Am I does it make sense to pray? What do I pray for? Do I pray to stop this disease, which I can't? Well, how do I pray? What do I do now? Where do I turn? For those who may not be as spiritually inclined, the fear is still there. And so many tend to need to know, and many do believe in superior power. So you're a superior being. However, you talk to your superior source, is it still important? Does it make sense? Why should we pray? How can we pray for those with dementia? How if you feel as though or you've been told that you have a diagnosis of dementia or early Alzheimer's or a family member does, then what do you do next? Does prayer make sense? Do we continue to pray? Like, what do you do? So it was challenging to find some information, but in my observation and research, come up with easy to remember three or five. So five things that I pray help you to navigate this path, which has so many uncertainties in it that we feel as though you're just clutching at straws. So it's for something to hold on to something more tightly. It's raining now, which is I always count as a blessing at night. Love night rain. So if you hear me having to speak louder or the noise outside, it's rain. Just just rain. It's the Caribbean. It's April showers. Loving it. So we're gonna go into should we pray? So the three questions are: should we pray? Because with persons with dementia, or if you have dementia, why why it makes sense to pray? Does it make sense, and why it makes sense if it does make sense? Three, how would you go about doing it? And then there's a fourth one, there's a bonus on that we'll talk about later. So stick with me. Now prayer is has many definitions, and but basically it is your connection, a person's connection with their someone that they consider to be their superior power, their higher power, the one who is almighty. the one who knows what we don't know as frail human beings, the one who has answers when we don't have answers, the one who's provided, if not solutions, at least ways to manage. And every person, uh, every person has some sort of place or person they go to commune, to help navigate life in general. No one really does this thing alone. And even persons who say, "Oh, I don't talk to anybody, I don't pray," they do have a way of communicating with some, what they would say is their source. And so it's because we recognize that we are so small. We have we do not have all the answers. And many times when things such as dementia, Alzheimer's, family caregiving, it gets so overwhelming. You lose answers. If you feel as though you have a diagnosis, well, if you have the diagnosis, or you've just been told you have a diagnosis of cognitive impairment, dementia, Alzheimer's, any of those chronic things, you're wondering, well, what's going to happen next? And there's a loss that many persons, the fear of losing who they are. Many just say prayer is the only thing I have to hold on to. So let's talk about, we're talking about what it is. Why does it make sense to pray if you feel, if you already have a loved one who already has dementia and is full on, does it make sense? Yes, it does make sense. And here's why. Because remember, hearing, many studies would confirm that a hearing, unless you're hearing impaired, but the and processing is still lingers for quite some time in persons. So they may be visually impaired, physically impaired, mobility might be low, but they can still hear you. Even if they may not be ambulatory, or they may be in a far advanced stage of Alzheimer's disease or dementia, they can still hear and process something. The person is still in there. And many persons of older ages have always had something spiritual in their life, especially in the Caribbean where I'm from, have always had that spiritual connection. And so they have their favorite songs, they have their favorite passages of their spiritual book that they would have always gone to. So it's in the navigating of caregiving, sometimes you just forget. You don't do it on purpose, but you forget, hey, I can actually, let's say a small prayer before we eat. We used to do that all the time. They used to do that all the time. What about prayer on mornings with them? What about prayer at bedtime? Those are the typical times that persons would have prayed. Does it make sense? Yes, because they can still process somewhere. And you would know, it's amazing to see how persons even in advanced stages of Alzheimer's, you start one of their favorite songs, one of their favorite spiritual songs, or one of their favorite scriptures, and they can finish it for you, or they hum along with you, or they try to say the words with you. And the look on their face when they recognize, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here. And you recognize as family caregiver, you're still here. And if you're one who's now having a diagnosis and you pray, you feel that connection, you know you have support. So it makes sense to pray. How would you go about it? We just talked about that. So you can pray before meals, you can pray when you wake up in the morning, and the simplest prayer you can do is thank you. And if that is all you can do and get out, that is enough. Hold the person's hand, hold their face. Say, well, we're going to close our eyes now, if that's what you'd normally do. Or if they can bend, kneel, whatever. Or you are still, vibrant and you can still have your mobility. And your prayer is to go on the floor. Do that. Do it. You haven't lost you. There's certain parts of you that may be changing as aging is a process, and you feel confused, and the thoughts in your mind are so erratic sometimes that you wonder, well, am I going to lose my thought process? Never fear. What you can do is not have the prayer be too long, because then you will get into just maybe it doesn't make sense, and then the person gets distracted, and then you forgot what you were saying, and all of that, and then you feel bad. So keep it short, keep it simple, but make it regular, so that you feel the lifeline holding on to you. You feel the superior source of wisdom and knowledge and almighty force helping you through the process. So there's a third question we had asked. Well, fourth, the bonus now. So we're finishing up. So on the short, because I know it's a subject that persons don't often get into and don't want to talk about, because there's some stigma with, okay, well, what if I'm this religion, and what if this person's that religion? Do I still pray with them, and so on? You'll have to decide that for yourself. What I'm saying, even if you don't get into it with them physically, and there are CDs or YouTube videos or uh, something, a screen, uh, what is the word I want? A show or a play or something that they used to watch on TV that's available. You can actually just put it on and let them just hear that go over and go over. And trust me, it does help. It helps them be less restless. Studies have, and many patients I've spoken to, owners of nursing homes, who say, well, they play the songs and the hymnals and the readings at night for their clients. They might play it over the sound system, or they play it next to their bed, just very quietly, and it calms them down, because that's what they were used to. It gives a sense of familiarity. It gives a sense of, I'm still here. And remember, they're still here. So it gives you, as a caregiver and as a person, maybe an older person with the diagnosis, less or more confidence in what you're saying. Caregivers, caregivers, pray for yourself. Pray for yourself. You're going through a tough process. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask to summon help. I don't know what else to do, dear God. I don't know. Help me to be patient. Forgive me for what I said yesterday. Don't beat up yourself. Don't let it be a big. Don't take the whole world on your shoulders, which, admittedly, we do. It's true. So pray for yourself. That's the bonus. That's the one I really wanted to pull out. So praying makes sense, because the person's still there. They will still remember there's something there they can hold on to. It's a familiarity. It gives you the sense of connection, and also give yourself, my favorite saying, grace to the space. So from my heart to yours, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. And in this case for tonight, today, tomorrow, evening, morning, one prayer at a time. So have a wonderful uh, day, and I wish you all well. Stay safe. From my heart to yours, Dr. Nana signing out and saying bye and all the best well wishes. Mwah.